Hey everybody, thanks for being here. Welcome back to the channel. The General is here, and he's got the replica battle belt on. There'll be more details on that later. Today, we're going to talk about the idea of one of the, sort of like the rock, paper, scissors of jiu-jitsu, and how sometimes, even like probably at the highest levels, no one's hitting anybody with anything they haven't seen before, right? Everybody kind of understands the whole game. But then it becomes a matter of either you beat somebody or you get beat. You want to say away?
Yeah, so we were talking earlier, and I got into this conversation with a couple people about how, I don't want to rely on, surprising somebody, maybe doing a technique that they haven't seen, or just something that they're not aware of yet. Because that's not although I'll definitely take one of those, but you don't want that to be the reason that you're catching submissions, just because Jared's never seen a buggy choke, so I'm hitting with buggies, something along those lines, or he's never seen leg locks, so I'm hitting him with heel hooks. I want to beat you with stuff that is coming, because that's I can replicate that over and over and over, and then the tricking comes into setting your traps. And things like that. And I love the analogy, the rock, paper, scissors analogy, right? Because it's all right, well maybe I'm throwing the right thing for what you're throwing, rock, paper, scissors, okay? So, but maybe you're throwing a paper and I'm throwing a rock, okay? But then I got an underhook and I pushed those two fingers in, and then I got my head position and split that open, and now there I am, right? I used my rock to overcome your paper due to setting traps, such as creating an overhook and then getting head positions, right? Just as an analogy to how you want this stuff to go. And I would say that the match that I've been most impressed with my opponent in my entire jiu-jitsu career was just almost about a year ago now at Jiu-Jitsu Con in Las Vegas. I was wrestling against Rolando Sampson, black belt from Autos. He was in the world semifinals this year, very, very good. And he put it on me. But during it, I found myself just kind of in awe at how I knew everything he was doing. It wasn't oh man, he caught me off guard with that slide by, which he hit a slide by on me, or oh man, he trapped that wrist and stepped over to the back, and stuff like it was he did something, and I was yeah, I know that, yeah, I know that, yeah, but he put himself in a position to where my only reactions led him to his next technique, and he ran that path to victory, right? And I was left that match not upset like I typically would be after a loss. I was just more wow, that was really good jiu-jitsu, and you're somebody who I should beat right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Me and Warren were talking about how there's a couple different ways of being frustrated when you lose, where it's one, you lose because someone was a lot bigger than you or stronger than you, or you were whatever. But there's the other one where it's they actually beat you because they knew more, or they're more technically skilled, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Right. And it's funny because like you said, okay, so maybe I was having a bad day, wasn't feeling well, and I got beat. All right, that's frustrating. Maybe I was doing some things that weren't so great for my performance, maybe I was out drinking or doing something, and I'm talking competition here. Yeah. Stuff that you probably should, before practice or whatever, you live your life. Yeah. But before competition, if you're competing, you're probably trying to be a little serious. Maybe I wasn't training correct, and then I lost. Okay, that's frustrating. Maybe, it's just someone bigger and stronger, significantly bigger and stronger, to where even though, I know my technique's better, or I may be better, or whatever, I wasn't able to overcome the advantage, that's frustrating. But then, getting beat by, just someone who is just better, right? You would think that would be the most frustrating, because that's the one that you don't have the excuse for, right? That's the one where you're next time I won't go, I'll clean up my diet. Next time I'll up my training. Next time, I'll make sure to get a good night's sleep. Whereas next time it's dude, next time, still next time, right? Unless dramatic things change in your technique, the result's gonna be the same against that guy. But for some reason, that's the one that does not frustrate.
Same. I feel the exact same way. Yeah, we were talking yesterday about how in volleyball there was one team with one guy who was tall, and one guy who was with one guy who was one team with one guy who was fat. And so they're both. So the tall guy was just wailing on us because he's tall, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't good. He's tall.
Right.
But the fat guy was he was never in the wrong place. The ball never hit the floor on his side because he was always right there.
Yeah.
He couldn't move any faster than like this. But as soon as the ball started coming toward, he was in motion.
Yeah.
He knew exactly where to be every time.
Yeah.
And I'd rather lose to that guy.
Yeah.
I'd gladly lose to that person every day because I'm probably learning something from watching him.
Yeah.
The tall guy, it's like, oh, good for you. Like,
and like, dude, like at the end of the day, if I'm in the competition, I'm in it for the sport, right? The competition side, I'm in it for the sport, and like that's just sportsmanship. Like, guess what, dude? Like, if you truly are better than me, I don't want to be you. Like, I don't want you to slip on a banana peel, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to earn my victories. So, like, in that case, if I lose, like, that's how it should be, you know?
Yeah. I appreciate that attitude because I feel the same way. I don't want to win because,
right? Like, it depends now. Well, I'll catch a win over, like, one of the homies.
Of course.
On some luck and celebrate and dunk on them.
Yeah.
But, when push comes to shove, like, your true competitor, you know what I mean? You want to win because you were better.
Yeah.
You know, not because of like maybe a ref made a bad call or this person, like for lack of a better term, slipped on a banana peel type deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, point is, jiu-jitsu is not always about knowing more moves. It's just about, a lot of times, about beating. That sounds simple, but beating your opponent to the moves that you both know.
Yeah.
Just getting there and being in the right place at the right time.
That chain gets longer too, right? Like it's like, okay, like we used a quick example of like, I got the underhook, right? And that allowed me to get the head position, which then allowed me to get the submission just for like, to have a path to speak of, all right? There's a lot as we get better and progress, like there's like so much to me just getting the underhook. You know what I mean? Like there's like, I have to like out hand fight you to get past like the hands positions, and now we're in the elbows, and I gotta like convince you to open an elbow so that way I can dig an underhook. So like that each one of those becomes its own battle in itself, and it's a physical and it's a mental battle. And the ways to fight it are with like you could use like the dark side, you could be using strength and things like that. You could be using misdirections. You could be using opposing threats that work symbiotic with the threat that you're looking to do. It's basically like, I want this underhook, but like you're keeping your elbow in. You know what I ought to do? I ought to do something that makes it seem like it's the right thing for you to reach, right? And then I can look for my underhook. So like that's where the game's played, and where it sucks, especially if you watch hour rolls, you see it all the time. Like I'll get a guard pass, I'll get to the mount, I'll get to the back, all this work, and I'm working for the submission, and then boom, all goes away, right? Complete escape, complete separation, and it's just like, man, like I climbed all the way to the top of that mountain just to fall right when you're about to plant the flag.
Yeah. You just actually gave me an idea for another topic. We'll get to that on the next one, but I think that's pretty good coverage on the beating versus like winning. I don't know.
Yeah.
Winning versus beating somebody. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hit the like, subscribe, hit the bell, and
come down and train.